Hello, world. Hey, Neeca.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everybody.
What time is it in the Philippines right now?
2:01 a.m.
2:01 a.m., you guys. So let's get some hearts and love in the comments here for Neeca showing up at 2 o'clock in the morning to answer your burning questions about VA, specifically virtual assistants. We can talk about virtual assistants in general. Obviously, Neeca is a virtual assistant in the Philippines. So if you have any Filipino specific questions, she's your go-to person. Okay, so we have a lot of questions, Neeca. So let's see here. Let's just start up at the top. First of all, let me give a proper introduction because we had a few people who have asked like what our story is. So let me just start there. Okay. So our story is that 4 years ago, I did not know what the heck I was doing. Okay. And I thought, but I knew I needed a virtual assistant. And so, this person here on the screen with me is the first person that I ever interviewed, the first person I ever hired. And I did totally, completely luck out. And I would say at that time, that was 4 years ago, Neeca was like, and we talk about this a lot in my course, the Front Row CEO, about how you don't necessarily have to hire somebody who knows all the things. It's more of the kind of person, a smart person, a curious person, a person who is capable. And so at least I knew enough to do that, right? Like I knew enough to hire based on those sorts of things. So things were going along well. I would say, Neeca, you were kind of shy in the beginning. Yeah, would you agree with that? Okay.
Yes.
So Neeca was kind of shy, and we weren't. It wasn't like we were, hanging out and like telling jokes in the middle of our workday. Like we were, continents apart in two different time zones, and she was doing her work and I was doing my work, and things were going along really well. And then one day, I guess about a year, Neeca, into it, when I got the call.
5 months after, I think.
Oh, not even a year. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
half a year. I
Have a
get a
year.
call, and I'm very happy because things had so much had been lifted off my shoulders. I was finally able to focus on all the stuff that I really wanted to be focusing on, like not all this other stuff. And she said, Jen, I have to go to New Zealand because I've been afforded this amazing opportunity in this business program. And I cried, and I was very sad. Um, but when Neeca left, there were a few times when she had to come to my rescue where I needed her help desperately. And she actually, another crazy time zone. And I remember that you stayed up through the night and you had all your studies, but you stayed up through the night to help me through this crazy situation. So we stayed in touch here and there. And then she started, then when her program ended, I thought she'll never come back because she's got this, fancy degree now, and she's not going to want to come back here. And she actually did. And so, and then she's been back with me ever since. So, and of course, I'm so happy. Neeca, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the questions.
Hi, everybody. So, thank you so much for your great introduction, Jen. So, yeah, when I studied in New Zealand, I was really shocked by that opportunity because I really thought that I wasn't gonna get into that school. But then when I got the great news, I was also sad at the same time, happy. So, like, it's very mixed emotion. So when I told Jen about it, I was very concerned because, like, I got a lot more responsibilities already. So how am I gonna tell this? So it's very, very hard for me. But so I just promised her that I'm gonna help her to like find a new VA to help her and continue what I'm doing. So that was the backstory of that. So I've been working with Jen since 2014, and like, I stopped and then came back to the Philippines and worked again for her. So, and I'm very much happy with our relationship now. I think we really got closer and know more about each other, like on a sort of personal level. So yeah, that's it.
So a lot of times people are like, gosh, I wish Neeca had a clone. And the funny thing is, Neeca kind of does have a clone,
Yeah, I have a twin. So my
identical.
twin, yeah, yeah. So my twin she's working full time as a CPA. So she's very total different field, but she's very curious about what I do, and she knows what I do, and she's very supportive of it, and she also want to try it. Like, maybe give me some clients. I was like, are you joking? Like, it's not a simple job, you know. So yeah, maybe soon I'll let her try or something.
We need to talk about this. We could totally like open up like I don't know, an accounting branch. I mean, yeah, we could definitely use those skills. Well, all right. So we got a lot of questions. So let's get to them. So this one was so we had several emailed in ahead of time. Isabel sent this one, and she says, "How are you most considerate of Nika's sleeping time since there's such a big time difference?" Well, as you can see, I'm pretty inconsiderate because it is 2:07 a.m. and Neeca is on this live stream with us. But the truth is, well, first of all, with the time difference, for us, it's easy for me to figure out what time it is there because I'm on the East Coast. So we always know it's just the flip opposite, right? So that makes it so easy. 2 p.m., 2 a.m. So that makes it really easy to figure out what's what. Generally speaking, when we first started, I said I don't really care whether what the hours are. I really just care that the work gets done. But over time, it's evolved so that Neeca has told me that she's fine doing the wee hours, and then she'll, and then that's just so we have some hours that overlap, which is good, especially like during this launch. There's been a lot of time we've needed to collaborate in the Zoom room as we're working through stuff. What do you have to say about the time difference, Neeca?
I mean, I'm very nocturnal person, so I'm totally okay with it. And Jen is also very considerate that, hey Nika, it's already 3 a.m. Go to sleep now. Something. But it's me. I mean, I just find it very easy to finish the task. I need to make sure that I send the samples to Jen, like these works are already approved, so that the time I wake up, I can continue working on it. Because when I wake up in the morning, she's asleep, so it it wouldn't be very productive because I have to wait until she wakes up. So that's why I like working also at night.
It's also really cool. I love it because like we've been working on this deck together, and so I'll write out in the notes, for example, of a slide deck, like all my thoughts about something. Like I actually will write the presentation in the notes of a slide deck, and then when I wake up, I have a beautiful deck. It's already completed, and it's like it happened while I was sleeping. So that's pretty cool as well. Let's see here. Let me get back to our little question sheet. Okay, Neeca, this one's for you. What
Okay.
motivates you in your job as a VA?
So I think there are a lot of things that motivate me. First, I what really motivates me at the very beginning is that, like, there is a big sense of belonging and responsibility that I'm like, Jen told me that I'm her partner. So of course, as a partner of this business, I have to also do something that would really help like grow this business, not just like the clerical tasks, not creating all those back end stuff, but also having that sense of like bigger responsibility. Like, I felt like I'm not just a VA anymore now. So that really motivates me to just do your job. So, and also of course the communication, the more we engage, the more I am committed, of course, to this launch, the more got these are the things that I have to do. I am more into it. So of course that motivates me a lot. And of course those little things that Jen told me, just those little praises, like even though I just fixed her little thing on Facebook group or something, and then good job Nika, wow Nika. So those appreciation means a lot to me because I know that I help her, like just scratch that off her list. And then also Jen also supports me in what I'm doing. All those feedbacks that I receive from her help me get to know more about her, those things that she hates, things that she loves. So it helps me to become more proactive also and productive in all the things that I do. So yeah, those are those things.
Thanks, Nika. And I know that like now, you're like a big superstar in both of our Facebook groups, the Front Row VIP and the Front Row. And people really love you and they really appreciate you. And what I love is that I know that as as we grow our business together, you like you know our members, you know how many kids they have, you know who just had surgery, like the people. So you really do have ownership. But there's something that really stood out to me, and this happened very early on when I hired you, and that was you were doing some work on the web page. Do you know what I'm going to say?
No.
So
I
you
think the word that I use.
yes, what was the word? What was the word?
Our business,
Yeah,
those words.
our webpage. She left me there was a video, or we always do Loom videos back and forth. At that time, I think it was like Screencaster or something. And she said, Jen, and this was early on, and she said, Jen, our website has a something something. And she said like our website. And in Front Row CEO, the program that we're launching right now, frontrowceo.com, Neeca has mostly created a course. I'm in there, Neeca's in there. It's called Front Row CEO VA. And one of so it goes way deeper. There's a lot of tech trainings that all new VAs need to have, but she has a conversation with your new VA about things like how to use language like that with your CEO and why that's important. Communication stuff. So really, really, I'm so excited. Okay, let's see here. And Susan says, and you make great VIP live videos, Neeca. Yeah, a lot of times Neeca will, especially with like tech questions and stuff, she jumps in when I can't and answers people, because what we're both on board with is that we really want to be timely in our responses to our community. I know we all do, all of you listening. Sometimes it's just not it's not easy if you're solo, right? And when you have a partner who can sweep in there and do that, it's just worth it's everything. So let's see here. Flavius. Hi, Flavius. So cool that Neeca is getting the spotlight. Yes. And let's see. Let me go back into the banners where we have the questions. This one says, have you ever had a miscommunication? And if so, would you be willing to share how it was resolved? Okay. So no. Okay. This is what I would say. If there's ever a miscommunication, this is what it looks like. Oh my God. Voxer. Neeca. Oh my gosh. We're about to go live and I can't find that thing. Where is it? It was supposed to be right here. And then I should play one of her replies. I should have done this in advance. And she'll say very calmly, Jen, yes, I took care of that last week and it's where it's supposed to be in the folder labeled this. I mean, she wouldn't say where it's supposed to be, but I'm insinuating that, like, if we have a miscommunication, it's always because I'm freaking out because I forgot something, but that's it. So, let's see. And this says, Jen, do you already have an exit plan? When you didn't know how trustworthy Neeca was at first, how were you set up? Well, first of all, Neeca, I have other VAs. I have one part-time new VA, 20 hours a week. And then I've had other people over the years. And pretty much, no, not pretty much. With everybody, we use a system called LastPass. So LastPass makes it really easy. That if you bring on a contractor, I'm sure you've all used it. If you bring on a contractor, especially short term, it's really so convenient to be able to be like, here is everything you need for this project. You don't have to give any passwords. And then as soon as the project's done, you just remove them from the folder. At the level that where Neeca and I are now, if Neeca left, I wouldn't, I mean, I don't, Neeca is, she's just baked into the business. So there would be no need to do, no, to answer your question, I haven't thought about that with Neeca. But generally speaking, when you're working with VAs and contractors, it's very easy to just remove someone from a LastPass folder. I also in the program teach you specifically how when you because of course you don't have this level of trust someone right from the beginning, right? So there's steps that you need to do to protect yourself and your business, and also to make sure that everything's kosher on their end. So there's systems that we use, programs that we use that sort of keep an eye on everybody, and it's a bit micromanaging in the beginning. It's a little bit big brother, but once you get through a certain amount of time, you don't have to rely on that. How does Neeca like doing her job, and can she grow her own business out of this one day? Interesting. I'll let you take that one.
Okay, let me read that again. How does Nika like doing her job, and can she grow her own business out of this one day? So I think I talk about this with Jen already, like a couple of times before. So let me first answer the first question. How does Nika like doing her job? I just like doing my job because it's very nice to got to help Jen, but not only Jen, our all of our clients. So not only Jen appreciates my work, but also all our clients, especially in VIP, that even though I help them with those little tech issues or their websites, I felt very happy whenever they commend me for like a good job explaining those things to them. And I told Jen that I am also really planning to, because I see myself in this field for, I could see my like I'm gonna be a like I could grow my a business, like maybe a local business, and help also fellow Filipinos start their own VA job, because I think I know how to like the do's and don'ts already. So we're planning that, but that is still a long way to go. But definitely that is in the plan.
Yes, and I am 1,000% supportive. And in fact, when we hired our newest VA, one of the specifications, it wasn't a deal killer. What do you call it? Is that right? Deal breaker. But it was a preference, and it was Neeca's idea to ask if the person lived in her town, because that way, as we start to build the team, and I love the idea of having like as we grow and beyond 1.5 people, and that VA moving to full time, and then having another person. I love the idea of having that team in the Philippines who can meet up in person and have that other component that sometimes is missing in the virtual world. Like she and I are face to face all the time, but it really is nice to sometimes leave your office and go have a meeting with people in real life. So it's very exciting. Let's see here.
Kamusta, Tony? I see there's a Filipino. I think your neighbor, Jen, or something.
Oh yeah, Tony. He is a presentation expert. He's like a PowerPoint ninja, something. Like he actually has a title. What is it, Tony? It's some sort of. It's like a special title you get when you're at his level for doing PowerPoint presentations, and he really is like a master. Okay. So you guys put you're getting lots of love in the comments over here. Neeca is a rock star. And oh yeah, Susan was talking about specifically about the gorgeous video you made for our retreat. It was amazing. So, okay. And you also make great videos for the group. So, this is for you. What does it take to have a successful relationship? So if you were talking to, I would say if you were talking to another VA and if you were talking to another solopreneur, like what would your tips be?
First you have to be transparent with your expectation at the very beginning, so that it will save you a lot of headache, so that you just know what to expect from your client and what to expect from your VA. And of course you have to be completely honest. Of course it's not easy working with a VA that is like totally opposite of your time, and sometimes you don't get to talk in a day because you're both very busy. So I have to say that it's really being open to things that uh, to the things that are um may those things that are hindering you from doing certain tasks, or if there's something that is not clear. So you just have to be really you have to be 100% honest to the client, because that is just like, I think, the very foundation of a really successful relationship.
Yeah. Amen to that. That brings me to Erica's question. So Erica posted this. So she says she hired a VA and then another one. So I introduced them and they got along well. They were both content writers. Then all of a sudden, the first one left. It was weird. I was also scheduled to pay her that day. So I know it wasn't a money issue. I honestly think she wanted to be the only content writer. She said her and the other VA clashed, but wouldn't explain. I mean, for me, I don't know if you would agree, Neeca, but I mean, I don't know all there is to know about this. This could happen for a lot of different reasons. But I think that fundamentally, if you go back to, and again, I know this doesn't happen overnight, but if you cultivate a relationship with your VAs as early as you can and have that person really invested in your business, and I give all the ways that you can do that. I can give you a few ways here, but there are ways to do that, so that your virtual assistant buys into your business, is actually a part of your business, and truly feels a sense of propriety. Is that proprietorship? And if that's the case, that first VA is not going to be so quick to leave, because it just wouldn't be so easy for her to walk out the door, her or him, I don't know, because they would feel it would be hard, because they were bought into your business. They felt invested, and so that in situations like that, that usually is the difference. There's just no other than that paycheck. There's no other real connection. I'm getting blurry. Sorry. Let me do this. There. So I don't know. What do you think, Neeca?
Yeah, that's I totally agree with you, Jen, because it's maybe it's in the person. I mean, for me it's really hard. I cannot imagine leaving you or something, because I've already invested a lot of my, like, I think my future sort of things like that. So yeah, it's important that you have to do that at the early stage of your relationship with your VA. And also make sure that I think you got your first VA, and make sure that the person that you hire is also like they get along, not only their attitude and personality get along, not only at the beginning, but you make sure as a client that you like supervise them also every once in a while.
Great advice. And there was a question here about the biggest mistakes that you and your VA friends, because I know another great thing that Neeca has put into how to the Front Row CEO VA course is perspectives, and inside the course itself is perspectives. She went out and interviewed. We had all these questions, and she has a group of VA friends, and they met for coffee, and she interviewed them and asked them a whole bunch of questions to really get insights from like what how they see what they see the challenges are and what their biggest complaints are and all that kind of stuff. Uh, so back to so I know that has to be fresh on your mind about what are the biggest mistakes you see solopreneurs make when hiring a VA.
Yes. First is micromanaging. So some of us, some of my friends, really, this is the first thing that they told me, because clients know that they shouldn't be doing it, but some clients are really very perfectionist in a way, not in a bad way, but also like meticulous. And it's hard for them to let their VA handle like a big operation of their business. So but they know that micromanagement is one of the most damaging habits that they could do in their business, because as VAs we are supposed to like free up your time, but if you micromanage us, and then you're gonna end up spending more time delegating those tasks, and you know, instead of gaining from our help. Okay. So, and then the second thing is not using a system, because by creating a clear step by step procedures of how you do the certain task and how should it be performed, then you could remove the confusion that at the very beginning. So it will be also very productive for the VA if you've got those systems in place, which we also got covered in our course, the Graduate CEO. And then so another thing is neglecting or not defining a clear role for the VA. When you're working with a VA, it's important for you to define the role, or like if it's a project based, then you should make a list of the specific tasks that the VA should do, like social media postings, scheduling your meetings. So creating like a picture of responsibilities and skills that you required, then that will help them know what to like expect in this role, and also for you to met your expectations. So you know, transparency is very important in this work. And then so I got my notes here, I'm just thinking next is um thinking you could 100% set it and forget it. So sometimes just because you don't want to micromanage, you just want to leave everything to your VA or like, but so you still want to check in periodically on the projects and then on the task that you assign to your VA, so to provide feedback. Just what I've mentioned earlier, I always make sure that I give those things to Jen and to receive feedback, because that's the time that I got to learn and to get to know more my client. Because of the feedback, I know Jen doesn't like this font, Jen doesn't like this color, and those little things will really help you also become very productive, because it will not like consume so much of your time picking those little things, you know. And then lastly, I think it would be failing to build the trust. Of course, it takes time, but as VAs, we could do, let's say, we can wear many hats. So we could free you up and let you focus on your genius, like doing those live stream, doing those content, and just to save you from doing all those admin tasks. But of course it has to be built. So at the very beginning, you have to be certain and you have to be 100% sure that you are ready to delegate a task to a VA or ready to hire a VA. So those are the things that I've discussed with my friends, and I totally agree with all of them.
Thank you. Very insightful. And this is sort of on that note. Lindsay wants to know, how often do we meet and for how long? So when we're not in launch mode, like we are right now, and like our hair on fire, and then we meet once a week, and we about, really depends on what's going on. It could be as short as 30 minutes or as long as an hour. And then, but like launch time, like I feel like we've been having a sleepover. Like we're just
True.
together all the time, you know. But it's so great because if you can imagine, collaborating, it's just so nice. Like I might create something and I'll shoot it over to her. It's an email and I'll be like, does this make sense, or am I missing something? And then she'll see that I have, and and it's really like, it's just amazing. I wish this for everyone. And so Flavius has a long one. Let's see. For both Neeca and Jen, work for which I would hire a VA is journalism related, as transcription, news monitoring, and sources search. Does the site you recommend, Jen, in the course I bought a few years ago, if I am not mistaken, allow to search and post by category industry, or is it for me to be very clear in the post? Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. So you would be, okay. What you would do, it's all about your post, and you giving a very accurate description of the kind of work that you're looking for. And then the secret sauce from that old course with the test task. But it's very much, it's way more developed now, and we've added several more steps into that process to make sure that the person that you get is actually a person that can do that kind of work. And you'll know it, and you'll know it before you offer them a 1 week trial period, basically, is how we're doing it now. And yeah, and you could still use that site to find those people. What else? Am I missing anybody's questions over here that you see?
I think we've got them covered, all of it.
So how do you know when to give Neeca a raise? That is a great question, because this is why we should have the conversation about like exchange rates, and why people go to the Philippines in the first place, and why a lot of people have a problem with this. Like a lot of VAs in the United States, have a problem with this, and like I get it. So let's talk about this. So I want to say that it's a real thing. The exchange rate is favorable to us, right? And because of that, you can start with a VA when you're just starting out, even if you're not making a lot of money, and it's not going to break your bank. In fact, it's going to be ridiculously affordable. Okay. Part of having your VA feel like a true partner in your business is to offer rewards for work that is well done. And I've done this well in the past, and I've done it, and I've done it in ways that I don't think really were meaningful. But I think that the best thing that you can do is, I mean, aside from obviously being kind and recognizing good work, and doing all these things, and appreciating your VA when they do good work, is the money part of it is, and the way we handle it around here is that occasionally I will just surprise Neeca for, she'll just get an announcement in PayPal because she's just because I feel like it. And I think that's fun. But every year around the holidays, definitely there's a nice bonus at holiday time. And little things like, let me message you real quick, Neeca, and ask if you mind if I say this. I'll put it on Voxer, okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Of course,
Oh,
Jen.
yeah, I don't know. Neeca's computer broke, and so it was like, well, you need a really nice MacBook, is that what it's called? MacBook? The laptop is a Mac. Yeah. And so, what, of course she needs to work on a nice computer. So it was my pleasure to be able to do that. And then, like if our launch kills it, Nika's going to get a part of that. So, it's because we're a team. And so it's not about like a specific raise. It's like, building that stuff in, because don't we all like to be rewarded? And that leads me to another topic that I think is so important that people miss. So this kind of goes back to the mistakes part, Neeca, is like your VA is just like you. Your VA is a VA because he or she wants freedom. They could go walk out the door tomorrow. The economy is doing quite well in the Philippines and get a job, like a real job. I mean, that we're not working from home job, in lots of different places. Neeca is an educated woman. She has a college degree. She has more than a college degree. So it's you'll work with VAs who have master's degrees. I mean, so it's not like those opportunities aren't available and that they're just so desperate to have this job. They want this job because it gives them freedom to be with their families. A lot of VAs have small kids at home, and so we miss that sometimes. So in the spirit of entrepreneurship and having an honor, understanding that they're on the same journey that we're on, and so it's something that we really need to keep in mind, I think. Did I say that all right, Neeca?
Yes, Jen.
Okay.
That's so true.
Okay. Let's see here. I don't see any more questions or comments. Did we miss anything that you think we need to cover?
Um, Wait, let me see my notes.
And I'm looking through the banner questions that we had too.
We answered everything on my notes, so
All right.
okay.
Well, considering that it is coming up on 3 a.m. your time, we'll let you go. But I want to thank you so much for spending the time with us, and want to remind everyone that Front Row CEO, which is a program all about how to hire, train, onboard, manage, work with a VA successfully so that you can, are you doing that on your end? Okay, thank you. So that you can scale your business, do the stuff you love, and not get bogged down in the other stuff that you didn't start your business to do. And there's also a bonus course in there, which is a Front Row CEO VA, which is a course with trainings that all new VAs need to know, and takes care of a lot of the difficult conversations for you. Neeca is in there doing a lot of the courses and talking through some issues from a VA perspective on how to best work with you, in addition to some technical trainings. Plus, you could look at the sales page with all this information, but you get all of our systems, which systems is the second half of the course. So it's once you get your first virtual assistant or your second or your third or wherever you're at, this virtual assistant is going to create systems for you. So carts close tomorrow at midnight, and I hope to see everybody in there. Neeca, thank you so much. Go to sleep, and I'll catch you later.
Thank you, everybody.